Welcome to Full Metal Daemon Muramasa. This has been something I've been sitting on for a long time now. Everyone is always going, Horsey, play Full Metal Daemon Muramasa, and I go, no. But then finally I caved. I did not set my sound effects ahead of time. I don't know what they should be yet. We'll deal with that later, I think. I'd like to thank I did not pull it up ahead of time. I should have. One moment. I would like to thank, who am I thanking? No, come on. Where is it? No. Okay, I can't find it. I'd like to thank the guy who said I can record this from Jast. I sent an email to a guy at Jast. Oh, there it is. Dave. Yeah, I sent a message saying, hey, can I record Muramasa on YouTube? And Dave said, sure. That's all he said, sure. So I'd like to thank Dave for saying I can record this. Big props to you. This is apparently a kami-ge, but it's translated, so it's not a kami-ge anymore. So that it's okay. I can make fun of it, right? If I don't like it, it's okay. Everyone on YouTube will be like, oh, I understand, right? That's how it goes. See, oh yeah, something I should say ahead of time. About 2 years ago, I read about an hour of Muramasa, I want to say. I was planning to just read it on my own, but like the day, wait, I'm OBS. Okay, you're working. There's just no audio, right? The day I read it, I found out Fate Extra CCC got translated, so I moved over to that, and then I just never came back to Muramasa. So yeah, I've read this opening introduction scene, and then probably 20 minutes past that, I vaguely remember it, and I think I know two things about this game. One is a spoiler for chapter 1, and the other is just about a sword. Apparently, if the sword kills an evil person, it also kills a good person. I don't know if that's a spoiler or not. I do think what I know about chapter 1 is a spoiler. I don't know if I should say it now or just keep it on the down low. So I'm going to keep it on the down low. Anyways, today's performance will consist of 4 acts. We begin with a duel. First off, we begin with increasing the text speed. Text display speed. I like it to be near instant. Let's see that. The stage, an open field at the edge of a tiny village. A company of soldiers stands in formation, rifles and swords glittering in the sunset. The burnished crimson glow makes their silence all the more threatening. At their front stands the dragoons, armored warriors, tall and terrible in full battle dress. Each is worth more in combat than the entire company behind them. The commander stands forth to address the village. His voice is clear and powerful, his words heavy with undisguised arrogance.
この村が倉掛の反乱に組みした奸賊をかくまっているのは分かっている。おとなしく身柄を差し出せばよし。叱らずは村ごと踏み潰すまで。
His words were directed to the throng of villagers that formed a wall before their home. No, not one fails to understand the threat, nor doubts its sincerity. Nevertheless, few succumb to fear. They are ruled first and foremost by anger. Jackals, ghouls. They have not the courage to shout the epithets at their targets, but content themselves instead with hushed whispers, sharing their hate with those beside them. Yokuhara! They speak that name like a curse. Yokuhara, the leader of these men, repeats his demands. The villagers do not respond. Anger and hate still sizzle among them. The Yokuhara officer delivers the final ultimatum. The soldiers train their rifles upon the villagers. Now the villagers cease their muttering, yet not one comes forward to comply. Silent malice, both silent defiance. The confrontation is at an impasse, with all parties tense for the Yokuhara commander's officer's command. Before he can give the order to fire, however, something changes. The voices pick up again, louder than before, as the wall of villagers part to reveal a new figure striding to the fore. You mustn't! Go back! They'll kill you! The villagers call for the man to stop. In answer, he says only, The warrior strides towards the army. He, too, is clad in armor, the same as that worn by the Rokuhara warriors, save in one respect. Their armor is as good as new, shining fresh from the polisher's stone. His, however, is beaten and worn, the damage enough to hinder its performance. It's the difference emblematic of his status as the remnant of a defeated rebellion. The rebel warrior takes another step, but stops when his tiny hand seizes his steel fingers. He looks down to see a girl, perhaps 9 or 10 years old. She grips his hand with all her strength, refusing to let go. Without a word, he reaches out with his other hand and pats the girl's head, then gently frees himself from her grasp. Her eyes fill with tears, but the warrior does not look back. Leaving her behind, he advances on the Rokuhara formation. Several dragoons draw their swords upon seeing this, eager to claim the prize for themselves, but a gesture from their commander halts them. He alone strides forth to meet the fugitive warrior. Yeah, these robots. I don't really know the context of this game too well. I think this is... I don't actually know where the branching point is. Is it World War II or... We'll find out eventually. The two men square off at the center of the field.
何のつもりだ、鷺沼。
昔の上官に敬意を示しただけですよ。家計少佐。
村を見逃すとの言に偽りはなかろうな。
あなたの身柄を差し出すなら村の罪は問わない。言った通りです。
ならばよい。で、貴様、よもや本気で俺とし合う気か。
Okay, by the way, I don't remember this at all, but I vaguely remember. I think he's gonna pull the, well, they didn't hand you over, you came over yourself.
後ろの味方を頼んだ方が良いのではないか。
This guy's cool.
なぜそんな必要があります？あなたは一騎打ちで敗北を知らないことが自慢でしたな。あいにく
Oh, this guy's
そのような
cool.
名誉を抱えたまま地獄へ行かせてはやれません。
ここへ置いていっていただく。六原に背いた者の最後には一片の名誉とてふさわしくない。
おお。
見れば双葉係もかなわぬほど翼が傷んで
The flying robots. That's probably what the tank is.
太刀
Maybe.
打ちつかまつろ。
見上げた大言相互だ鷺沼。あの青二才が吹くようになったものよ。ありがたく地層に預かろうか。メイドの土産にその印いただいておく。
もらうのはこちらだ家計。そのしわ首を魚にうまい酒を飲める今宵が今から楽しみでならぬ。
Each having spoken his piece, the Rokuhara officers and the fugitive swordsman. I mean, I want to drink out of a skull from a guy who just died. That's a good way to get sick. Two men with no small history between them draw their swords and face off for the last time. The soldiers and villagers alike hold their breath. I don't know. It kind of looks lame with the big old armor and the sword. Saginuma assumes the Seigan position, the point of his sword held at eye level, ready to claim his enemy's life with a single lightning thrust. Kaikei assumes the ratio position, sword held over his right shoulder, no, the right toe, sorry, ready to cleave his foe. I thought it was weird that it didn't say ratio. His foe in two with a single mighty stroke. And there the warriors remain, motionless. Time rolls on, passing them by. Sweat drips from the villagers' clenched fists. Even most of the Rokuhara soldiers can only look on in amazement. Few among them, however, have grasped the meaning of the stillness. They tremble in anticipation of the exchange to come. The intent of both combatants is clear. Saginuma will thrust, aiming for the throat. Any slash from his current stance would require him first to pull back his sword, which would give the initiative to his enemy. The thrust is his only option. The strongest dragoon armor is, there are weak points that one can exploit. These are the joints whereby the warrior is able to move, and the most vulnerable of these is the throat. Hence this will be his target. Kaikei will slash downward, aiming for the neck. This is another weak point in the armor. By tilting his sword slightly as he strikes, he can slide his blade through the gap where the helmet meets shoulder and cut diagonally into the chest cavity. As with his opponent, he too would have to reposition his weapon before choosing any other attack. Each has already chosen his strike, yet neither moves. Why? Because each warrior has prepared a counter and knows that his opponent has done the same. If Saginuma thrusts first, Kaikei will turn his body to avoid the attack and strike to claim victory before Saginuma can recover. If Kaikei slashes first, Saginuma will take one step back to escape, then rebound with his thrust and slay the enemy. Each has a defense to go with his attack, and the former no less deadly than the latter. Knowing that death awaits should they strike, the combatants have entered a stalemate. In such situations, the duel becomes a contest of endurance, physical, and mental. For this stalemate to continue, both Saginuma and Kake must hold their stances perfectly steady, while at the same time maintaining the intense focus needed to react to their enemy. The effort exacts a tremendous toll, like walking a tightrope across a chasm. Sooner or later, one will falter. The other, if he still has the strength, will seize that chance and strike. Saginuma, the Gokuhara commander. Kake, the rebel warrior. Who will falter first remains to be seen. Age has begun to tell the tale. Saginuma is in his physical prime. Kake, however, is several years his senior, old enough to feel age creeping up on him. The difference is not great, but it is meaningful. If this continues, Kake will eventually succumb to exhaustion and become fodder for Saginuma's blade. Should he wish to avoid that fate, he has no choice but to strike first and stake his remaining strength on the only hope of victory. It is a slim hope for however. Saginuma, who valiantly chose to face this veteran swordsman alone, shows no sign of overconfidence. His senses are trained on his former superior, sorry, I'm tired today, ready to react to his slightest motion. Thus Kake's fate would appear to be sealed, death if he strikes first and death if he waits. To an observer, the two warriors might be seen as statues. Beneath the surface, however, the scales of victory and defeat, glory and disgrace, are already tipping in one side's favor. Time flows on, carrying the silent battle on its end. Slowly but surely, the older warrior's breathing grows labored. The trembling of his knees becomes more pronounced. A number of soldiers smile to see these signs of tilting balance. Fortunately, none of the villagers have noticed. Yet. Still, a sense of doom seems to have reached them. "You can do it!" one of them cries. Perhaps that cheer is what he needed. Kake strikes, launching his body forward with a sharp exhalation. Saginuma responds without missing a beat, as calmly as if strolling along a beach. The battle is decided. No deity has intervened in Kaike's favor. He is committed to his attack. Now all that remains is for the inevitable sequence of events to play out. Saginuma will dodge Kaike's slash, and with his counter thrust, end the old warrior's life. There is no other way this can end. Unless, of course, one of the fundamental variables is not what it seems. For example, what if Kaike only looks committed? Rather than cleave the air before Saginuma's eyes, Kaike's sword suddenly shifts direction and reseats itself at his left side in preparation for the rising blow. Feign a downward slash to force Saginuma to retreat, then take him with a real slash through the armpit or groin while he defends. Kaike's plan is a simple one. However, if this had been his intent from the beginning, a seasoned swordsman like Saginuma would have read it. It is effective precisely because it was spontaneous, born in a flash of desperate hunger. Kaike's need to crush this enemy, though it will not change his ultimate fate. In a fraction of a second, the balance has shifted once again. Now Kaike looses his true attack, slashing upward to cleave his enemy in two. The decisive stroke.
Saginuma.
It's voice acted, right?
すでに先のない身だ。相打ちでよかろうに。無用の欲をかきおって。
Blood spurts from the old warrior's mouth, seeping through the cracks in his armor. The villagers cry out in dismay. Kake never completed his slash. Before his sword could reach his target, Saginuma's thrust pierced his throat.
俺は相打ちでもよいと腹を据えていたぞ。だから貴様が何をしようと構わなかった。貴様は違ったな。メイドの土産に勝ちを欲しがって小細工を浪した。
He had a 100% win rate. He couldn't back
た
down.
めに惨めな最後を迎えることになったわ。死ぬがいい。六原に立てつく武人も貴様で最後よ。大将領足利森氏公のもと大和の部の一党はなる。
大義は成就するのだ。
ほざけ。まだ岡部団長殿がおられるのにもまだあまたの獅子がおる。貴様らに映画の時は訪れまいぞ。
岡部ごとき寿命を待つ老輩に
He's an
過ぎ
old scientist ready to die.
姿勢に隠れ潜んで陰口を叩くだけの輩など物の数ですらない。
かけ、貴様は奴らが来る時のためせいぜい地獄を清めておくがいい。
With that, Saginuma draws his wakizashi and strikes the head off his defeated foe. Keike's torso falls away, landing with a dull thud. The villagers have no words to express their horror. They can only stare at the corpse of the man who for a short time had been their friend. On the other side of the field, however, excitement and awe are spreading through the ranks. One of the armored warriors steps forward and, bowing deeply, takes the severed head from his triumphant commander.
お見事でござった。
何たわいもないしは
して、鷺沼殿。
宣告言った。家計を差し出せば村は咎めぬと。
は
あの村は家計を差し出
Yeah,
し
okay, okay.
いや、差し出しはいたしますなんだな。
では仕方あるまい。
You gotta love how unabashedly evil he is. I wonder, does he have a... Well, I'm kind of thinking we go here. He's not in here, so is he not, like... Is he just a character for this? I mean, he doesn't have a sprite.
反逆の目は狩らねばならぬ。
I'm guessing Kake is the important... Or maybe he's not even important. This is all just setting the scene.
きょい。
The dragoon signals to the rear of the army. A soldier lifts a horn to his lips and blows. Their rousing note echoes across the field. The soldiers raise their voices in answer. As one, they ready their rifles and advance. Here, at last, the villagers regain their senses and are overwhelmed by terror. They know what is about to happen. They know what their fate is to be. These expectations are not betrayed. And so the play enters its second act. The tragedy of this little village. To the heavily armored soldier, this is not a battle so much as a hunt, and an easy one at that. These are far less agile than the beasts of the wood, and in their terror have taken leave of their reason. As villagers flee in panic disarray, soldiers take aim at their back and fire. One man goes down with a bullet in his spine, vomiting blood and tears as he convulses in the dirt. As villagers kneel and beg for mercy, soldiers lay into them with their swords. One old woman clutches her cloven head, screaming as brains scatter like pulp from a shattered melon. The soldiers kill, the villagers die. These roles are fixed with no hope of reversal. This is no battle, perhaps it's not even a hunt at all. At length, however, a handful of villagers find the strength to fight amid despair. Zetsubo! Knives, scythes, axes. Arming themselves with whatever they can in their attics and sheds, they hide in the shadows and wait for careless soldiers to pass, and fall upon them from the rear. The backgrounds are very pretty, by the way. Is there a way to hide? Oh, we have an affection meter! Who's best girl? Blue hair, red hair, black, question mark. I don't know what's going on with it. I mean, I think there's 4 routes, so that, I mean, I assume these are the hair ones. Which I don't know why these are. But you would assume if they're gonna hide one like with a question mark, they'd hide the other with a question mark, but this is different for some reason. Oh, there's a high text. Okay. With each soldier who goes down beneath his crosshairs, the woodsman sinks deeper into a mad ecstasy. I'll kill you all, he thinks, enraptured. I'll pay you back for what you've done. I think we skipped a line. He has a trusty rifle. He proves particularly deadly. Alas, his vengeance is not to be. A terrible demon, for whom the hunter is but an insect, has set its sight upon him. The old sharpshooter's skill at concealment is the product of a lifetime's experience. From the ground, he is all but invisible. From the air, however, his position is clear. To a warrior born aloft on wings of steel, the hunter is not a force of nature to be feared, but a mouse caught in an inescapable trap. Seeing the chaos the hunter is sowing, one dragoon dives straight for his head. Some sixth sense lifts the hunter's gaze. There, plummeting from the sky, is a giant of steel. It's the last thing he'll ever see. The Dragoon's John slash splits the man from crown to groin and demolishes the shack he was using as cover. When the dust clears, only a deep crevice in the hard earth remains. Such strength is beyond any man. But these flying warriors are not merely men. The power granted to them by their armor has made them akin to gods. Until this moment, they have only been observing from above. Now, spurred by their comrades' actions, the circling dragoons descend one after another, bringing with them such violence as to make all that has gone before seem as a gentle spring breeze. I do not like how the text box is. I get that this works a lot better in Japanese where it goes down, right? But it makes it hard to read. With each roar of a dragoon's sword, brave villagers die by the dozen. Bodies fill the streets, mangled beyond
老
recognition.
人、病人、役に立ちそうにない者は殺せ。労役に耐えそうな男、若い女、それと子供は捕らえて足の剣を切っておけ。
Did Japan ever have slavery?
一人たりとも逃すな。こやつらに許す運命は霊族か死か。
I mean, I know it had a
けど
what do you call it? A case system? I think that's the right terminology. Which, I mean, essentially villagers were, I mean, it's like, you know, with feudalism, peasants aren't too much different from slaves, but there's still enough distinction there.
それが六原に弓引いた者の末路だ。
A storm has come to swallow the village, a whirlwind of fire and steel. With the infantry at their heels. Like, I mean, like, yeah, it's not like, you know, as far as I know in Japan, like a villager would be sold to someone else, you know, that kind of thing. The dragoon moves from house to house, street to street, killing or capturing whomever they please. The villagers are powerless against them. One villager raises a rifle to his shoulder. Whether he found it in some hunter's chest or on the corpse of a soldier is unclear. Either way, it is a splendid weapon, the sort which can put a bullet through a man's eye at 100 meters. The farmer is no marksman, but as luck would have it, all of his shots are on target, one deadly bullet for each of the 4 dragoons. It's a miracle, albeit meaningless. The first dragoon dodges his bullet with the smallest tilt of his head. The second swats his from the air with his sword. The third catches the bullet in his metal fist. The fourth does nothing at all. With a dull thwack, the bullet bounces off his armored hide. All 4 responses are equally detached, as though the bullets are nothing but gnats or flies. But indeed they might as well be, for all the threat they pose. The man's will to live, perhaps, deserves praise. Those next actions are hardly sane. Throwing down the useless rifle, he races to the truck parked nearby, the only such vehicle in the village, leaps into the driver's seat, and stomps on the accelerator as though to drive his foot through the floor. Okay, but there's cars, which gives us a time period. You know, we're in the 20th century. Perhaps he believes the truck, whose engine remains silent, will explode into motion with the screeching of tires and carry him far, far away from these devils. Perhaps he even believes that he will rescue his friends from the massacre. Whatever the case, he is at least spared the knowledge of his failure. A split second, a dragoon takes position overhead and strikes. The winged swordsman's weapon may be more primitive than the farmer's rifle, but it's also far more effective. The blade plows through everything in its path, metal truck and fleshy human alike. The villager has no time to feel pain. Best have been born under a good star indeed, for surely a quick end is better than dying, perhaps even living in agony. The halves of his face, split neatly down the middle, express no dissatisfaction with this end. A far cry from the wailing of his fellows being grounded up and hamstrung even now. One villager takes off running, knocking down friends and family in his desperate attempt to escape. There's no malice in this, only fear. Pushing through the chaos, he makes for the open road. He keeps running, he'll reach the neighboring village. There, he'll surely be safe. Don't look back, he tells himself. Keep running. Before you know it, this will all be over. It takes 30 seconds for him to realize that safety will never be his. For those brief moments of blissful ignorance, he runs on, unable to grasp that he's not moving an inch. At last, it dawns on him. One of the armored warriors has taken him by the collar and lifted him off the ground. His feet have been pumping air all this time. The dragoon throws him onto a pile of captured villagers, where a soldier seizes him and slices his ankle just enough to keep him from running again. My Achilles! Oh, I did not remember the 3D CG robots. One by one, villagers are rounded up and reduced to worms. Now and then, a lucky one meets a human end, if such a thing exists. Death or capture are the only fates available to them, just as the Rokuharu commander decreed. Even this choice is not theirs to make. Whether they run or fight or huddle in fear, in the end their desires are inconsequential. Only the will of the armored has any authority here. Absolute tyranny rules the village. Time for the third act? Oh no? Why, wonders the girl who once held a doomed warrior's hand, now lying, ankles slashed atop a pile of the damned. Until yesterday, life was quiet and routine. Her father, a lumberjack, would go out every morning and come back at sunset with bundles of wood. She'd play with her friends or help her mother attend to their daily chores. Every day was peaceful, the same as the last. Now it is ruined, shattered to pieces without warning. Why? Why did these men destroy their village? The schoolmaster said that bad deeds are punished. If you hurt someone, then you too will suffer. Did I hurt someone? The little girl asks herself. Did her mother or father? What about the other villagers who died or those lying nearby, ankles slashed like hers? Were they wrong to take in that man, Kake, to give him food and a place to sleep? But he was nice. The adults all said they had never known a more honorable warrior. Was it that? Was it something else? If the villagers are being punished for some crime, what will happen to those who did this? Will the soldiers meet the same fate one day? They have to. Otherwise, the rules don't make sense. But who? The soldiers are so strong, they wiped out this village in the blink of an eye. Who will do the same to them? Who can punish these titans of steel? Can anyone? If not, then the cycle ends here. The villagers alone will suffer, never knowing it was them who did wrong. The demons who forced this suffering upon them will never have an answer to it. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right, cries the girl who cannot stand, her voice lost amidst gunfire and screams. Someone, anyone, I won't ask you to help. Just please, don't let it end with us. Punish them too. Make them pay for their crimes. Let them suffer just as we have. The girl prays. She prays with the sorrow of everyone who has lost everything, the anger of one who cannot fathom why. Please, she begs. This is wrong. Make it right. No, this is not wrong. It is. If you do something bad, you get punished. That's how the world works. No. Then tell me this. Tell me the truth. Throw off your grief. Throw off your anger. But I can't. Grief and anger are all I have. You need no grief. You need no anger. You need no hate or malice. I do. You do not. Why not? The girl hears a verse. Then she realizes she has been talking to someone all along. The other voice is laughing. Its laughter is gentle, affectionate, as it reaches to recite the lullaby. Grieve not, rage not, hate not, it says. All are meaningless. Life has no need of such things. The girl hears a verse. Laugh, sing, clap your hands, dance and dance with joy in your hearts. Throw off your foolish trappings of humanity. Live for the sake of life itself. Do this and all shall be revelry. Sadness will no longer have a place in your heart. You cannot? Nonsense. Anyone can. You have merely forgotten. Remember, your purpose is joy. The girl hears a verse. Then she knows that she was mistaken all along. Yes, I see it now. The verse is a song. The song of life. I was worried about right and wrong, but that's not what life is about. It teaches her the truth. Where there is life, there's no sin to be punished. Life should just be pure and true to its desires. The girl joins her voice to the song. She sings of life and joy. If only we lived free from the beginning. If only we'd known that life itself is joy. Let us live pure and true, like the beasts we are. I've got a rooftop with that you'd love. Trying to make a Tsubikimi reference there. I've got an arc you would love. There we go.
死にたくない。
死ね
生きたい。死ね。生きるんだ。死ぬんだよ。
It's time to pose that eternal question. To be or not to be, we ask. So let us begin this comedy on the stage where mad laughter does ring.
なんだこの声緊張状か
I don't know what Kin Chojo. Let's Google Kin Chojo. Kin Chojo. Oh, that's a Muramasa thing. Okay.
いや違うぞ何か
頭をかき回されているような。どこから聞こえてくるんだ？
Thunder howls as the loyal dog sinks his teeth into the thief's soft flesh. In her warm nest, the chick calls for her mother. Closed eyes blind to the slithering sticks. Stop! On the white savannah, the lion stalks his prey, golden mane puffed up with pride. The stream burbles softly as frolicking children crush the frog's eggs beneath their bare feet. You who preach life's sacred meaning, heed the gesture's heartfelt lies. You who fear death's cold embrace, know that his mask is but a mirror painted black. Question life's purpose, and the jester in death shall lift a spoon. Embrace life's pleasure, and the jester in death shall doff their crowns. Run and dance, beasts of the plain. Laugh and sing and feast and fight. For now all chains and cages have crumbled to dust beneath your feet. I know what that means, yeah.
なんだこいつら。様子が妙だぞ。
Yeah, I remember this a little bit, and I think 2 other robots show
恐
up.
怖のあまり気が触れたか。
いや、兵どもの様子もおかしい。どうしたのだ急に。
Oh, God, more! Revered God is... The man who revered his God's messengers forsakes his faith, vomiting blood. The man hailed as the world's conqueror fails in his question, drowns, still atop his horse. The princess chooses love over her country and is led to the guillotine amid the stench of offal. The orphan seeks sustenance in the blood of worms and rots from within until no flesh remains. Listen, all who live, and I shall sing you your praises. Offer forth the malice concealed by weary smiles. Listen, all who live, and I'll pray for your souls. Rest upon the joy which hatred and prejudice have birthed. A life of 100 years will hear the serenade of fire and steel. A life of 7 days will glimmer bright in the silence and dark. Run and dance, beasts of the plain. Laugh and sing and feast and fight. For now all chains and cages have crumbled to dust beneath your feet. The tragedy ends, and we now come to the 3rd act. This sort of comedy, and at the same time, pure horror.
貴様、誰に向かって撃ってる？反逆するつもりか？聞いているのか？
待て、どう見ても錯乱状態だぞ。
一体何だってんだ？とにかく止めろ！が
Okay, that's a cool presentation thing.
こいつらのか。
先沼殿。
とにかく我々に抵抗する者を殺せ。状況の解明は後でいい。
は了解。何をとき狂ったのか知らんが関係ねえ。
Armored Warrior B, no! That's a death flag!
この道俺たちが負けるわけ。
Armored Warrior B!
誰がやった？どこから？こいつらか。そんなバカな。どうやって？金色。そうだ。金だ。今の金色の。
そうだ。Okay, yeah, white robot. Solar robot.
金星号。
こいつが銀星号か。
And there's the robot that always follows her. I think it's a her. Question life's purpose, and the jester in death shall lift a spoon. Embrace life's pleasure, and the jester in death shall doff their crowns. Run and dance, beasts of the plains. Laugh and sing and feast and fight. Now all chains and cages have crumbled to dust beneath your feet.
殺戮者銀星号。
破壊魔銀星号。
死の雨。
Lots of titles.
白銀の悪魔。
It's time to score that eternal question. To be or not to be, we laugh. So let's begin this comedy divine, the stage where lamentations do ring.
空中に静止している。バカだ。飛行船じゃねえんだぞ。そんなことできるわけが。
隊長殿。
かかれ。ひるむなタケ。奴がいかに豪気を持ってなろうと、所詮は一気。かかれ。奴の首を上げれば対抗ぞ。お
Nothing personnel.
消えどこだどこバカ上だ早すぎる銃だ銃を使え足を止めて捕まえろ
This is like when you accidentally end up at the super boss and you're only level like 20.
榊
Sakaki!
榊無事か大丈夫だ
Oh,
くそ
he lived!
翼をやられたごめんね
Sakaki! Oh,
逃げろ
right. There's a delay with the voice, so I... Yeah, honestly deserved. That's called karma. As that girl was talking about earlier.
榊おいほうけてる場合か前隊長下着の後の助け
Wait, hold on. We're gonna raise voices. Sound a little lower. I mean, actually, voices should be the highest. You should always be able to hear the voices the most clearly.
おれやってくれたな俺の太陽貴様
I think I know why he doesn't have a sprite in the voice menu.
通じぬだと俺の剣が何なのだヘイと村人は歌声で狂わせ我々は片手であしらい貴様は一体何なのだ銀の魔王
Villager, he lived! Let's go! He's having fun. Listen, all who live, and I'll sing your praises. Offer forth the malice concealed by worries. Do I have to read this? Pray for your souls upon the joy which hatred and prejudice have birthed. Life of 100 years will hear the serenade of fire. We've read that one. We've read this one. We've definitely read that one. 100% we read that one. Dust beneath your feet. And there's the other robot. I'm kind of wondering if this guy's the main character. You know, I'm assuming this is a prequel. This could be during or like the story. But I've always kind of assumed this is like several years before the story actually takes place. The two stars spiral into the heavens, meeting and parting and meeting again. The crimson star is a savage wolf, ravenous and frenzied. The silver star is a mountain doe, graceful and serene. Its terrible roars shake the firmament, while her laughter rings out like the music of the spears. Each time the crimson warrior strikes, sword howling in sadness and pain, the silver warrior brushes it aside with the soft touch of a mother cradling with her babe. Rage, grief, guilt, and sorrow, met with joy, compassion, acceptance, and ecstasy. The fourth act. Is this another duel to close the night as it began? No, this is no duel. It is a mating ritual, a courtship dance, the elegant princess deflecting the advances of her boorish suitor. The silver flits among the clouds, climbing higher into the night, and the crimson races after. The moon shines before them, growing larger with each passing moment. Only one is worthy of entrance into the coldly glittering halls of heaven. The others turned away harshly at the door, his brutish methods disdained by the moon and its servants. And so the silver fairy soars even higher, while the crimson ogre falls away, called back perhaps, the hellfire that spawned him. At the summit of heaven, the silver star blazes. With the moon a shining throne at her back, she gazes down at the Avenger? Still struggling to reach her. I just finished reading Fate Grand Order. I don't want to hear more about him. She smiles softly beneath her mask and speaks a single verse.
Falling down, ladybug.
Ladybug comment? Oh, that's your special attack! She's more of a bee than a ladybug.
銀星も俺の野立ちどうするつもりだ卵やめろまたそれをばらまくつもりか寄生体を生み出すのか
So is she the Cthulhu the girl was talking to then?
待て光る
Okay, remember that. Hikaru. Remember the name, everyone. I'm going to forget it, so write that down. Write that down. Actually, you know what? I had this for Super Hebe. Oh, hold on. Full Metal Demon. Muramasa. Fade to black. And then I remember it breaks the fourth wall here with the monologue. Is that not the end of the flesh? Hold on. We'll read a line or two to see if this is the robot guy or not. He never wished for destruction. He's not so childish as that. It's simply the only option left to him. What he truly desired was eternity. Alas, eternity was ever out of reach. If all that he loves is doomed to ruin, then let it at least be by his own hand. That is his only wish now. Perhaps he's a child after all. Okay, we will stop there then. Thanks for watching, everyone. We're not quite where I left off before. I didn't get too far into it, so probably next video we'll definitely hit the point where I stopped reading. I don't remember exactly where, but I remember like a couple characters. A girl's missing, I think, and they're gonna go. I assume they're gonna go look for her. I just remember, I think like the student council president or someone that reminded me of the student council president went missing. Okay, that's all I remember. So I'll see you guys then. Looking forward to it. Yeah, nothing more to say. Bye.